Um, this is me back again. It is 3:30 p.m. and by chance, um, I read a chapter from this book by Dale Carnegie, and it had a lot of interesting points which I didn't really realize. It said that if you fail, or if you fail, then the reason to keep going is the first of all the fact that you can either win, and second one is the fact that even if you don't win, you would have at least become one step closer to your goal of making a minus into a plus. Now, I can't really explain this because I'm still trying to take it into my mind as well. So that's why you'll have to bear with me, because I'll be much slower in processing this, because I really want to think over this. I read the chapter twice, imagine, twice. Anyways, I'm just gonna reflect here, okay? When I had my CVS exam in March, or was it April, something like that. I think, yeah, it was April. I was really, really stressed out. I had a lot to study. And I think we had a mock test 1 week before the actual exam. Or no, sorry. Yeah, our theory was divided into two parts, part 1 and part 2. I think I did terribly in the part 1, but I had the next day the part 2 exam. So when I finished my part 1 exam, I thought to myself, okay, Uzma, I have two options right now. Either I can be sad and upset that my part 1 didn't go well and ultimately waste the very minimum hours that I have left, and also have the same situation with part 2, or I can get myself back up, no matter how hard it seems, finish 40 lectures in one day, revising them, and then be ready for part 2 exam, which was the very next day. And you won't believe it, but that day I closed my social media. I didn't even reply to my friends. I just hit the books, and I didn't think of the ending. I didn't think of the reward, that would I pass part 2, would I get good marks. No, it was just like, this is the time I have, I need to work for it, and the result is not my issue. And you won't actually believe it, but the next day we had our part 2 exam. It went well, alhamdulillah. And the next day we had our OSPE exam, and the same thing I did with that. And then when it was over, I felt like a huge relief, and we got our marks maybe 2 or 3 months later, and alhamdulillah I had passed. And that was an example of making an adversity into an opportunity. And I remember that day I learned a lesson through experience, which was that when you fail, you need to accept it and learn from your failures and grow. Now, I could have cried, I could have been upset and been like, this always happens to me and this and that, but it would not have helped me grow. It would have not helped me in my path to achieve that goal. So that was one experience. And the second experience was a few days ago, 6th September, when I had that driving car accident. And I remember when 2 or 3 hours afterwards, no, actually, in fact, when I was in the car, and the people, they were outside, and there was a lot of police, and I sat in the car and I thought that why would something bad happen to someone? Why would God, or why would fate want to make someone die, or to make someone lose someone, or lose something really important to them? And I had this question in my mind the whole day, that why is it that people go through such hardships in life? And I think I even broke down. And well, I don't think I actually did break down. With my mom, I just started crying and complaining, and I was like, "What? This isn't fair. This isn't right. And why is God doing this?" That was my reaction to it. And I don't know what led to this realization, but it was a very strange feeling that the next day I thought to myself, okay, now is all I have. So I need to forget about what happened yesterday. It's not that I have a choice, I have to forget about it and try to do my best today. Even though I failed my driving test that day, but I don't know, alhamdulillah, like Allah put this sort of peace inside of me. I really can't explain it. I don't know what, but before my driving test, I prayed to Allah. I was like, Allah, do whatever you want. I am okay with whatever you want. And when the examiner had said I had failed, I had no reaction at all. I was like, okay, it's a part of life. In fact, I don't think I cried. Nothing. I just felt, yeah, I was a bit sad, but I was okay with it. And that's when I think I started to read up about sabr. And anyways, the point of that incident is that even though I failed, I still believe that I am one step closer to my goal. In this book, it's written that the reason to do something or anything is, number one, that you may win it, okay? And number two, even if you don't, you will still be one step ahead of what you were or what you did yesterday. You will be one step closer to your goal. Even if you fail, that can be your learning opportunity. So that was something interesting. And the third thing, I'm really like, my points are all over the place, I feel like it, but I'm still trying to get my point across, is that my question on that day was, why do bad things happen? Why does death and loss of life and loss of health and loss of finances, why do these conditions happen? Is it because that person deserves it? No. But in this book, it said that when you have a difficulty, then you are prompted to do things which you might have never thought of doing. So basically, if I had not failed my first part 1, I would not have been compelled to work twice as hard for part 2 and then my OSCE exam. If I had not had that accident, I would not have been compelled to think about life again, to think about to become a different person, you know. I hope I'm getting my meaning across. What I'm trying to say is that your failures and your losses are like the leaping blocks, you know. You jump onto them and you go higher. They are like lemons. I hate the lemon wali analogy, but it's kind of useful. You know, if there is a brick in your path, you can either, you will most probably, like, you'll fall over it. Now what you can do right now from this is you can either cry, you can either be sad and you know, or you can take your brick and make it as a building block to whatever thing you want to do, and use the hardship and the adversity to your advantage to the maximum way you can. And this is coming from me, okay? So I think in my life I learn more from experiences rather than listening to advice. So I would have never really able to, like, understand this book, especially that chapter, if I had not gone through a problem quite recently, you know. And it said that, you know, Abraham Lincoln, if he had been in a perfectly normal life, you know, if he had just graduated college, and, you know, he would have had a happily married life, it would never have compelled him to become who he actually became. If Helen Keller was not blind and deaf, how do you think she would have gone on to revolutionize the world? And J.K. Rowling, one of my most favorite authors, even despite the fact that I've not read much of her books, but I still admire her dedication to writing, you know. I feel like I really admire her. So J.K. Rowling, if she had not been on the streets, if she had not been on very low levels of life and depression, would she have been able to write Harry Potter? And I take examples from the lives of my mom as well, and from my own life, even though I don't think I've had many hardships, but I remember in class 9, when I was at the lowest point in my life, I started to write. And I don't think I would have written so much and so many stories if I had not been sad and upset, if I had not felt so lost. So, hardships are there to spring you to the next level, you know? And whenever you face a difficulty, use it to learn from it. And it's inevitable. It's not like in life you will not have problems. You will. And I think that's where my mindset was wrong, because I thought that if life is to be lived really happily, then for that there should be no problem, there should be no issues and fights and, you know, no difficulties. But if there are no resistance paths, then how are you going to grow and become stronger? So I guess now we should look at it this way, that life is like a kacha rasta, you know. It's filled with problems and difficulties and adversities at every single step of the way. It won't ever be like life is smooth. It will always be, you know, up and down and up and down. So what you need to do is you need to expect that. Okay? Expect that there will be hardships. But at the same time, you need to take every single hardship as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity. And yeah, that's what's actually written here. It said that there are two prisoners that are staring from the prison walls and the prison bars, you could say. One of them sees the mud, the other sees the stars. Yeah, so I mean, it's much more well written in this book. So it says over here, there's this quote which I really, really thought provoking. And it says over here that the most important thing in life is not to capitalize on your gains. Any fool can do that. The really important thing is to profit from your losses. That requires intelligence, and it makes the difference between a man of sense and a fool. And the reason why this quote sticks is because in April I had the same revelation that from failures you are not supposed, okay, from failures we can feel a bit disheartened, we can feel disappointed, but these failures make up our life. And that's something which I had learned in April after failing that exam, that from failures you need to grow. And I cannot stress this enough. It is really, really important, you know. From failures you can grow. And from success, sure, I think that if you have success, that's great. And if you notice what people do on Instagram is that they always show their perfect life and you know how everything is great. And you, in your problems and situations, you think that, oh, you know what, I have the worst life. They have such a great life and this and that. But success does not help us grow. No, it is failure that helps us grow. It is failure. So if you are failing at something, if you are having difficulties, then you should know that something great is going to happen to you very soon. And that won't just happen if you sit around and wait for it. You will have to work. You will have to move your hands and feet. So that day I kind of realized that you should be proud of your failures and use them instead of your successes. You should always remember that. Yeah. So now if I want to try to incorporate this idea into my life, I think I need to think about how I can do it now and what I used to do. So in the past, I don't really want to talk about the past so much, but I have a feeling that I wasted my time being for the people and with the people, and that really had an effect on my mental health. And it was like I was for the world and the world was not for me, you know? So, self awareness. Really need to be aware of what's inside me in order to give it back, you know? I need to love myself first before I can care for anyone else, you know? So, that was something. What can I do now in this time that I have? Now, even though I have a huge dread, the feeling of dread going back, but what can I do right now? I can focus on driving, inshallah. I can help make my health better, can exercise and try to build a routine so that when I go back then I won't have to start from scratch, you know? And I can clean and organize. And what else can I do? so I can clean and organize, and I can take this opportunity to fix myself and to take care of myself. Or I can sit around dreading for the worst, and the worst will happen, and I can just go back into my shell where I just sit around and watch Friends and be sad the whole time. You know? Either I can do that, or I can make the most of the time I have, and at the same time expecting that problems and difficulties will definitely come my way, and I need to expect that, and the moment they happen, I need to deal with them. I not run away, but actually just try to deal with them. Oh god, that sounds so terrible. But anyways, what can I do now? What can I do with the lemons I have right now? Make lemonade, even though as hard as it may seem. So today I need to, inshallah, clean. And oh my god, this video is like half an hour long. Sorry. I need to clean. I need to get my health back. Oh my god, I am totally out of shape. And yeah, clean, get my health back. So today is September 8th and it is Tuesday. Then I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So these 4 days before Sunday. Sunday is when my classes will start. Okay. So Wednesday, Thursday, oh my god, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So in this time, I can take the time to clean and reorganize my stuff and take care of myself, my skin. Oh my god, yeah, because I haven't been taking care of myself for a long time. And to love myself, I think that is something which is really underrated. To love yourself. To give yourself a break, you just need to really love yourself. It's really important. Anyways, what else? It doesn't seem like much, does it? But for now, I think I'm just going to focus on this and maybe just read a little bit of these books which I really like reading. But other than that, that's the plan. That's the plan. Health and self-love, inshallah. Okay, now I have to actually get the guts to do it, because I've made a plan, I've said it out loud. When it comes to implementing, it's kind of tough, So my goal for today is not to clean the entire house and be a master and oh my god, be this machine. No, it's just to do little, even if it's the size of a mustard seed, but it's still one step closer to my goal, and every single tiny step is a huge step in the long run. So I'm not gonna clean much, but I'm just going to try to organize, just try little by little and see where it takes me. So I will see you later, and I hope that this talk was really, if not certainly not life changing. I can't expect that from a video, and neither can you, but at least it would be thought provoking. And I just want to give a disclaimer that if you know me, or if this is me watching my own video, then I assume that you really well, of course, do know me, that I haven't been the most motivational or positive person in the past 2 years when it comes to my own life and when it comes to my own problems. I have been, in fact, quite reckless and ignorant about them. And the fact that I am the one who's saying this right now seems really really different, you know. It's hard to believe. But the reason why I am saying this is because, one, it's easier to speak to a camera than to write it down. Yeah. And two, you were expecting a reason, weren't you? Well, when I think of it, I'll tell you. So, okay, well, see you. Oh, and by the way, I really like Ava Zubek from YouTube. Just love her. And her cycling videos, she's such an inspiration. Anyways, see you later. Bye.